Daniel chapter 2, verse 31. You, O sovereign, were looking on and saw a great image. This great image and its brightness excellent, and standing before you, and its form was awesome. This image head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, and its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. Now, spoiler alert, because we're going to get into all of this. So he's going to explain it, but I'm just going to say it real fast, right? So the image that he's seeing right here of these different metals, the head is, he's going to tell him it's Nebuchadnezzar. Now, it says that it has chest and arms of silver, right? Chest and arms of silver. That chest and arm of silver is going to be the Medes and the Persians. Its belly and its thighs of bronze. The belly and its thigh is going to be Greece. And its legs of iron. Its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. So this fourth part of the beast is going to be when Rome is ruling. Okay? Alright, so let's keep going though. You were looking on until a stone was cut out without hands, and it smote the image on its feet of iron and clay, and broke them into pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together and became like chaff from the summer threshing floor. And the wind took them away, so that no trace of them was found. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled all the earth. This is the dream and its interpretations we declare before the king. You, O sovereign, are a sovereign of sovereigns. For Yah of the heavens have given you a reign, power, and strength, and preciousness. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field, and the birds of the heavens, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. Now after you arises up another reign lower than yours, and another third reign of bronze that rules over all the earth. And the fourth reign is as strong as iron, because iron crushes and shatters all. So like iron that breaks in pieces, it crushes and breaks all these. Yet as you saw the feet and the toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the reign is to be divided. But some of the strength of the iron is to be in it, because you saw the iron mixed with muddy clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the reign is partly strong and partly brittle. As you saw the iron mixed with the muddy clay, they are mixing themselves with the seed of men, but they are not clinging to each other, even as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of the sovereign, the Almighty of heaven shall set up a reign which shall never be destroyed, nor the reign pass on to other people. It crushes and it puts an end to all these reigns, and it shall stand forever. Because you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it crushed the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great Almighty Yah has made known to the sovereign what shall be after this. And the dream is true, and its interpretation is trustworthy. Daniel chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, sovereign of Babel, Daniel had a dream and a vision of his head on his bed. Then he wrote down the dream, giving a summary of the matters. Daniel spoke and said, I was looking in my vision by night, and I saw 4 winds of the heavens stirring up the great sea. And 4 beasts came up from the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings. I was looking until its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the earth and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and it was given a man's heart. And see, another beast, a second like a bear, and it was raised up on one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth, between its teeth. And they said to it, Arise and devour much flesh. After this I looked, and I saw another, like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and rule was given to it. After this I looked in the night vision, and I saw a 4th beast, fearsome and burly, exceedingly strong, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the rest with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I was thinking about the horns, then I saw another horn, a little one, coming up among them, and 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots before it. And see, eyes like the eyes of man were in this horn, and a mouth speaking great words. I was looking until the thrones were set up, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was clean like wool. His thrones was flames of fire, its wheels burning fire. A stream of fire was flowing and coming forth from his presence, and 1,000 thousands served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judge was seated, and the books were open. I was looking then because of the sound of the great words which the horn was speaking. I was looking until the beast was killed, and its body destroyed and given to the burning fire. And the rest of the beasts had their rule taken away. But a lengthening of life was given to them for a season and a time. I was looking in the night vision, and I saw one like the son of Enoch, coming with the clouds of the heavens. And he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And to him was given rulership and preciousness and the reign, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His rule is an everlasting rule which shall not pass away. His reign, that which shall not be destroyed. As for me, Daniel, my spirit pierced within my body, and the vision of my head alarmed me. I drew near to one of those who stood by and asked him the certainty of all this. And he spoke to me and made known to me the interpretation of the matters. These great beasts, which are 4 sovereigns which shall rise up from the earth. Then the set apart one of the Most High shall receive the reign, and possess the reign forever, even ever and ever. Then I desired for certainty concerning the 4th beast, which was different from all the others, very fearsome, with its teeth of iron and its nails of bronze, which devoured, crushed, and trampled down the rest with its feet. And concerning the 10 horns that were on its head, and of the other horn that came up, before which 3 fell. This horn, which had eyes, and a mouth which spoke great words, whose appearance was greater than his fellows. I was looking, and this horn was fighting against the set apart ones, and was prevailing against them until the Ancient of Days came, and right ruling was given to the set apart ones of the Most High, and the time came, and the set apart ones took possession of the reign. This is what he said. The 4th beast is the 4th reign on earth, which is different from all the other reigns. And it devours all the earth, tramples it down, and crushes it. And the 10 horns are 10 sovereigns from this reign. They shall rise, and another shall rise after them. And it is different from the first ones, and it humbles 3 sovereigns. And it speak words against the Most High, and it wears out the set apart ones of the Most High, and it intends to change appointed times and laws, and they are given into his hand for a time and times and a half a time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away its rule, to cut it off, and to destroy it until the end. And the reign, and the rulership, and the greatness of the reigns under all the heavens shall be given to the people, the set apart ones of the Most High. His reign is an everlasting reign, and all rulership shall serve and obey him. This is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts greatly alarmed me, and my color changed, and I kept the matter in my heart. Okay, so let's get an understanding of these two chapters, plus we're going to add in chapter 4. All right, so we're going to start with Babylon, right? So back to Daniel chapter 2, verses 32, we see there mentioned the head of gold. Verse 32 says, this image head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze. We're going to focus on the head right now. So its head is of fine gold. Now when we swing over to verse 37, it says, you, O sovereign, are a sovereign of sovereigns, for Yah, the Almighty of heaven, has given you the reign, power, and strength, and preciousness. You, O sovereign, are a sovereign of sovereigns. Verse 38. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field, and the birds of the heaven, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. So we see right here in this image that Daniel sees, or not Daniel, we see here in this image that Nebuchadnezzar dreams about, that Daniel is interpreting. It's a statue, and on this statue, Nebuchadnezzar is considered the golden head, or let's say Babylon, right? Okay, now let's go over what we just read in Daniel chapter 7. So in Daniel chapter 7, where Daniel has a dream now, right? Now Daniel's having a dream. So Daniel chapter 7, we're going to go to verse 3. It says, the first was like a lion and had eagle wings. I was looking until its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the earth and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and it was given a man's heart. So we know a lion is a beast, right? A lion is a beast. So the fact that it said that it was lifted up off the earth and stood on 2 feet and was given a man's heart, and given a man's heart. Now keep in mind that in Nebuchadnezzar's vision, Babylon was the golden head, right? So what we got here is something interesting, because it starts off as a beast, and then it mentions a man's heart, and it's standing on 2 feet. Let's go to Daniel chapter 4. Now we're going to read the whole Daniel chapter 4, because I want to show you something. The fact that it said that it was given a man's heart, the fact that it said it was given a man's heart, and then we're going to read Daniel chapter 4. Check this out. So because Yah has to deal with Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is arrogant, right? We're going to see this. So we're going to read Daniel chapter 4. We're going to read the whole chapter. All right, so we're going to read Daniel chapter 4 from the KJV. All right. So it reads, Nebuchadnezzar, king unto all the people, nation, and language that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show you the signs and wonders that the Most High Yah have wrought toward me. Sound like Nebuchadnezzar is praising Yah. Okay, let's keep reading. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Nebuchadnezzar is praising Yah. This is Nebuchadnezzar talking here, family. Verse 4. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in mine house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretations of the dream. Then came in the magicians and the astrologers and the Chaldeans and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretations thereof. But at the last Daniel came in before me, whose name is Belshazzar, according to the name of my God. Now, this is correct. This is how he's saying it, because he's keeping it in context. Belshazzar was the name given to Daniel, and when Nebuchadnezzar gave the name Belshazzar to Daniel, it wasn't to honor Yah, it was to honor Nebuchadnezzar's God. Listen to that name, Belshazzar. I hear Bel in it. You see that? But let's keep reading, because Nebuchadnezzar's gonna get right. But right now, he's showing you how it was before he came to Yah. Let's keep reading. So verse 8 says, but at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. See that? The holy gods? Right? This is how Nebuchadnezzar is talking. Watch how his talk changed, though. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubles thee. Tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of my head in my bed. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. Now, keep in mind, this is still Nebuchadnezzar speaking right now. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was the meat for all. And the beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in a vision on my head upon the bed, and behold, a watcher and a set apart one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with dew of the heaven, and let its portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's. Check that out. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. That's deep. Now we see in the dream that Nebuchadnezzar has, the watchers, the angel, they're saying, let him go from having a man's heart to a beast's heart. But remember what we read before in Daniel chapter 7, it says that he was made to stand on 2 feet, and a man's heart was given to him. Right? Keep that in mind. Verse 16. Let his heart be changed from man's heart, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. This matter is by decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the set apart ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomever he will, and sets up over it the baskets of men. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belshazzar, declare the interpretations thereof, forasmuch as all wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretations. But thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. And I'm saying it just like how he would say it before he got to know Yah. So now Daniel interprets the dream. Verse 19. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astounded for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spoke and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belshazzar answered and said, My master, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king. He's telling him, the tree is you. Thou art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reaches unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw us a watcher and a set apart one come down from heaven, saying, Hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with the band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my master the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass like oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of the heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he will. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. And after that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. So what he's telling them, he said, yeah, you're going to be living like a beast, eating grass in the field like the ox. And the stump you seen, your kingdom will still be there, but you will be out in the field living like an animal. Let's keep reading. Verse 27. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thy iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. Daniel is warning him. Daniel is warning him. Did it work? Verse 28. And all this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar at the end of 12 months. He walked into his palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spoke and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for thy house of thy kingdom by the might of my power, and for the honor of my majesty? All right. 31. While the words was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he wills. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and he did eat grass as oxen. So you got the king. So you got the king of Babylon in the wilderness eating grass like the ox do. Royalty, right? Living like a beast.
And his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle feathers, and his nails like bird claws. That's a long time, family. He started to grow hair like crazy. His nails started to grow. That's a long time he was out there. Verse 34. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him that liveth forever. No longer is he talking about the gods, right? Now it's the Most High. It makes sense. I'm going to finish reading this, but it makes sense when you see that when it was mentioned in Daniel 7 that he was made to stand on 2 feet. Now think about this. Look at this transition. Nebuchadnezzar is eating grass like the oxen. He's living like a beast. But when he looks up in heaven, he's standing on 2 feet. And now he's acknowledging Yah. He has the heart of a man. No longer does he have the heart of a beast. See how this ties in. Let's keep reading. So he says, and at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him that liveth forever and ever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. Listen to Nebuchadnezzar speak, y'all. Verse 35. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand, or say unto him, what doest thou? At that same time my reason returned unto me, for the glory of my kingdom, my honor, and my brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my masters sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom. Remember, it was a stump left, right? So his kingdom was always there for him. That pride and arrogance that he had to go. It had to go. So he says he returns back to that, right? In verse 37 it says, now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praises and extol and honor the King of heaven. Nebuchadnezzar honors Yah, and all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. So we see something. Now I'm going to go somewhere else too, because we see something with Nebuchadnezzar. Because remember, Nebuchadnezzar was described as the head of gold. Now if you look at that statue, what you got? You got gold, you got bronze, you got silver, you got iron, and you got clay. Of those precious metals, right? The most beautiful one, or the one that people would go after, let's say, would be the gold, right? So Nebuchadnezzar of that statue was the best part of that statue. It was the best part of that statue. Now, let me go here. Jeremiah 27, verse 6 through 8. Jeremiah 27, verses 6 through 8. Check this out. Because this is Nebuchadnezzar, right? This is the king of Babylon. This is the gold, the head of gold. This is the beast that was like a lion but stood on 2 feet and given the heart of a man, right? Verse 6 says, and now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. This is Yah speaking. This is Yah speaking through Jeremiah the prophet. So Yah says, listen what Yah says. And now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. And the beasts of the field have I given him also to serve him. And all the nations shall serve him, and his sons, and his sons' sons, until the very time of his land come. And then many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of him. And it shall come to pass that the nation and the kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish, says Yah, with sword and with famine and with pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand. So we see something here. You see. So that makes sense when we go back over to Daniel 7, and it reads in verse 4, the first was like a lion, right? So a lion is a beast, and it had eagle wings, right? I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked off, so the wings are taken. So it started off as a beast that was like a lion with eagle wings, but now the wings are gone, right? Okay. And it was lifted up from the earth and made to stand upon his feet as a man. So it went from crawling on all fours to standing, and the man's heart was given to it. So understanding why Babylon was the gold, the head of gold, right? And how a man's heart was given to it. Okay, let's continue on. Back over to Daniel chapter 2. We're just going to read a small piece of verse 32. So we already covered the head. You see, that's Babylon. It says, his breast and his arms of silver. Okay, now we're going to another nation, because just like how we seen when Daniel interpreted the dream in verse 39, after he describes to Nebuchadnezzar that he's the head of gold, he said, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, because gold is better than silver, right? So now we're going to another nation. Let's go over back to Daniel 7. So Daniel 7 says in verse 5, and I beheld another beast, a second like a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth of it between its teeth of it. And they said thus to it, arise and devour much flesh. Now this beast that we're seeing here is a bear. Now it's a bear, but it's raised up on one side. Now this beast is the Medes and the Persians. The Medes and the Persians are 2 nations that came together and became one kingdom, right? Became one kingdom. So the reason why it's raised up on one side is because of the Medo and the Persians. One is stronger than the other, right? And it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. The ribs is the bone of a skeleton, something that's been devoured. So it devoured something, and it has 3 ribs and three ribs in its mouth. Now there's a lot of speculation what those 3 ribs is. I'm not 100% sure. I've seen people say it's Babylon and the other provinces that Babylon had under their control. It could be, I don't know. But what I do know is it says that it was told to devour much flesh. Now when the Medo-Persians ruled, they ruled with an iron fist. Okay? Now, and let's keep in mind, they also are the ones who took out Babylon. It wasn't under Nebuchadnezzar, it was under his sons, who did not serve Yah. They didn't serve Yah like Nebuchadnezzar did. Okay? So Daniel is looking, and he sees this bear. He sees 2 nations. Now, as we keep reading in Daniel, we're going to hear more about the bear. Okay? We're going to hear more about the bear. It's going to be called something else, but it's still the same. Daniel's vision is 4 kingdoms. It's in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, the statue, 4 kingdoms. This one right here that Daniel had with the 4 beasts, 4 kingdoms. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. Okay. The next one, so we're going to go back over to Daniel 2. Okay, so back to Daniel 2:32, reading the rest of that verse, it says, his belly and his thighs of brass. So right now we have another metal. mentioned. The belly and the thigh is of brass. It's another kingdom. Let's go back over Daniel 7. And after this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard. So now this one's a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. And the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now, you have a leopard. Leopards are fast animals with 4 wings. Now, this beast has 4 heads. This is your Greek. This is when Greece would rule. Alexander had died at an early age. But before he died, he conquered most of the known land. So fast, faster than anybody has ever done it. So this is why you got this beast with 4 wings. But now let's keep going though. He also, when he died, he split his kingdom up. We're going to read more into that as we get into more into Daniel. But his kingdom was divided into 4. His 4 generals took the kingdom over. And we're going to see later on in the chapters of Daniel, they started fighting each other. All right, so now we got the leopard. Okay? All right. We're going to go back to the last one. And the last one's pretty interesting as well. It's the most interesting one of them all. And it's the one that stands today. Because there's even people, family, who teach that these beasts, all this is happening right now in the end times. Now, this has been happening throughout history. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the lion, the bear, the leopard, and whatever we're about to read about next, all in power right now. One's there, the other one that's coming up defeats that one's standing. Then the next one comes up, defeats that one, now that one's standing. And then the last one comes, defeat that one's now standing. I mean, it's like king of the hill. You see what I'm saying? They're fighting for the kingdom. But we're going to see, because they're fighting for the kingdom of the earth, right? But we just read, when we was reading these in its entirety, these chapters, that the kingdom will go to the set apart ones, Yah's people. That's who will receive the kingdom. So this land that they're fighting over, it's not just particularly just one land. I'm just saying the whole earth, kingdom and authority over the earth that they're fighting over, that they get for a time or two, that they're allowed to have it, will go to the children of the Most High for all eternity when it's all said and done. So it's like a game of King of the Hill. Let's read this last one though. Verse 40. Daniel chapter 2, verse 40. And it says, and the 4th kingdom. Alright, so now we're at the 4th one, right? It says, the 4th kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaks in pieces and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And then we continue on, because remember, he's seen the clay, right? He says now, verse 41 says, now whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of the iron. So the feet is all part of the 4th kingdom, right? The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay, and as the toes of the feet. Now I want to stop right there. Pay attention to the fact that we're mentioning feet. The toes, right? How many toes is on a foot? 5. If you got 2 feet, 10 toes, right? Okay, keep that in mind. So it says, verse 43, and whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay, They shall mingle themselves with the seeds of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So you have something cleaving to each other, but are not mixing. Now, the key thing that I want to pick up on right now is that it says that they are mixing with the seeds of men. Now, this is end time. This is end time. Now, for all who don't know this, I'm going to show you this. We're going to slide over to Genesis chapter 6. And then we're going to go over to Matthew real fast. So, in Genesis chapter 6, you have the watchers mixing with the daughters of men. All right? And that's something y'all don't like. Period. That's not supposed to happen. And this is how you got. Let me just go ahead and read it. Genesis chapter 6, it says, "And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men that were fair." Now, there's a lot of people that get a misunderstanding on this, because when they see the sons of Yah and daughters of men, they think that that's somebody else, not angels. But the angels are called the sons. We're called the children. You see what I'm saying? We're the children. So when we see the sons of Yah, like we go to the book of Job, I'm not gonna go there right now, but in the book of Job, when it in chapter 1, when Satan came to the Most High, it said that the sons of Yah had gathered to speak to the Most High, to speak of their whereabouts, like in a kind of like a meeting, right? Okay, they were called the sons of Yah. So right here, when we see the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, we're talking about two different type of creatures, right? You got angels and you got humans. Okay. So it says, the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men that they were fair. Looked at them, they were beautiful. And they took them wives of all which they chose. So they married them. Verse 3. And Yah said, "My spirit shall not always strive with men, for he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Okay, so this is why Yah brought the flood. This is why Yah brought the flood. It's like the story of David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant. He wasn't a natural human being. He was a mixture of angel and man. And there's a lot of giants mentioned throughout the Bible. Og and it's a list. It's a list of them. But anyway, let's keep going. Verse 4, it says, "There were giants in the earth in those days as a result of the angels mixing with the humans." Okay? All right. So it says, "And also after that, when the sons of Yah came unto the daughters of men, that they bore children to them, and same became mighty men, which are of old, men of renown." They became famous. All right. And this is why Yah brought the flood. Let's switch over to Matthew chapter 24. Because now keep in mind, we're talking about the fourth kingdom. This is the fourth beast. The fourth piece on the statue. The fourth beast Daniel's seeing. And I'm going to show you the same fourth beast is mentioned in Revelations. But anyway, let's keep going. So Matthew 24, we are going to read 38. I'll start at 36. Matthew 24, 36 to 38. I'm going to go past 38. I'll go to 39. So Matthew 24, verse 36, it says, and it's speaking about the day when Yahushua comes back. The day when, air quotes, the world will end, right? The day when Yah's authority will be set up on earth, right? Verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Yahushua doesn't even know when he's coming back. Michael, uh, all the angels, none of them know when Yahushua is coming back, when Yah's going to set Yahushua to come back. So that's what that's saying right there. Only Yah knows. Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay, so we just read in Genesis 6. Now, if you finish reading Genesis 6, you see that the flood is going to come 120 years after that was mentioned. And it's going to wipe out all mankind and everything except those that are on the ark. Noah and his family and the animals that they put in there. Yah's going to destroy everything because the animals are mixtures of things that shouldn't exist. Like, you've seen the movie Splice, right? Yeah, they were doing all types of stuff. They sinned against the animals and they sinned against all flesh. So Yah had to kill everything. So the fact that Yahushua is saying, when I come back, it'll be like the days of Noah. And we see that in Daniel 2, where it says that they were mixing with the seeds of men. Think about that. Okay, let's keep reading. Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, so we're going post-flood, right? Before the flood, right? Okay. They were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. What's wrong with eating, drinking, and marrying? If you're doing it with the angels, eating and drinking, you take eating and drinking to the point where, look at eating and drinking as when you eat with somebody, you are sitting at the table with them. When you drink with somebody, you are sitting at the table with them. You're having a conversation. It's not just simply saying, oh, everybody was eating and everybody was drinking. No, it's saying that they were communing with each other. They were mingling with each other, right? Okay. It says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. They're eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage led to the flood. You see that? Because wickedness, because with them communing with each other, them sitting at the table with each other, them taking the wives and marrying and creating these giants and destroying mankind and cannibalism, all this crazy stuff, right? War, fighting, strife, all because they were eating and drinking and marrying. Led to all of that. So Yahushua was saying, when I come back, it'll be just like when it was the times of Noah. Nobody knew it was coming. They were too busy mingling with the angels, and the angels were too busy mingling with man. It's deep, family. It's deep. It's definitely deep. Let's go back over to Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. There we go. This is the fourth beast. And after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. Wow. Now, remember, so numbers are key, family. Numbers are key. So let's go to that statue, right? In Daniel chapter 2, where it was the powdered clay mixed with iron on the feet, the toes, right? When it mentioned the clay, the feet, and the toes, it said mixing with the seeds, right? That's why we talked about that. But you have 10 toes. Now, we're going to read what they say this is. We're going to keep going. But I'm just putting emphasis on it. You have 10 horns on this beast. Check this out. It gets deeper. Verse 8. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. So now we get this horn, this little horn that comes up. And when it comes up, of the 10, right, 3 of those horns go away. So this horn is replaced. This horn replaced the 3 horns of the 10. Okay? So now this horn has eyes and has a mouth speaking great things. All right, so this beast family is Rome. We're gonna get more into this, especially as we read Daniel. But this beast is Rome. In Rome, when Rome comes into power, there is 10 kingdoms. Right? We're going to keep reading. But I'm just explaining this. There's 10 kingdoms that Rome allows to exist amongst them. Okay? We're going to get into that. We're going to definitely get into that. But let's keep going. So, you got this coming out of this beast, this Roman beast, right? You have a horn that appears. Now, this little horn has eyes and has a mouth. This is what you would call the man of sin, the son of perdition. The world calls him the Antichrist. Okay? But let's keep reading. Verse 9, he says, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Who is the Ancient of Days? The Ancient of Days is Yah. Yah is the Ancient of Days. You can't pick a day and you can't find a day where somebody created Yah. He just existed, right? The Almighty. So it says, I beheld until the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Remember how that statue, that rock came in Nebuchadnezzar's vision, right? And it destroyed the statue at the feet. Because the feet was in power then. Right? Okay. So he says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garments was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Let's stop there. Fiery stream. Family, I believe this is the lake of fire that God's going to punish the wicked. So he says a fiery stream issued, right, and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. Okay, so you got those who are going to get thrown into the lake, right? Okay. You got those that's going to see the kingdom. Verse 11, and I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spoke. So Daniel goes right back to the beast, right, with the horn speaking. With the horn speaking. And I beheld even till the beast was slain. So the beast gets killed, right? And his body destroyed. So his body is destroyed. But check this out. And given to the burning flame. So that flame, right? That stream, right? The beast was thrown into that. Okay. Check verse 12 out. And concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Oh, okay. Hold on. So the beast was thrown into the fire, right? But there's a rest of the beast still in existence. Right? Let's keep reading. Yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. Family, what you got here is now if we're in Revelations and we're reading this and we're going on the timetable of Revelations and we're at this point where it says that their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. It's talking about the millennium. It's talking about the millennium. Not everybody, when Yahushua comes back, not everybody that was sinners are going to die. They're going to have a chance to, they don't have to follow. They're going to get the chance to see Israel being the head and not the tail no more. They're going to see Yahushua ruling with an iron fist in the set apart land. Yahushalom. They're going to see Yah's order on earth. And they're going to see a time where Satan is bound for 1,000 years. That's towards the back of Revelations. We haven't gotten to that yet. But that's what this is talking about. The beast was thrown into the lake. But the other parts, because the beast is a composition of nations. Yeah. It's about a kingdom, but it's many nations. Let's keep reading. That's why you had so many horns. Those 10 horns are 10 nations. The beast itself is Rome, but then Rome is allowing other nations to rule with it. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. All right. Verse 13, and I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days. Okay, so one like the Son of Man, that's Yahushua, right? Came to the Ancient of Days. Yah, right? And they brought him near before him, and there was given to him dominion and glory and kingdom. And a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages. So, you know, people talking different languages still in this time, right? Because we got it now. Should serve him, and dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Okay, so now we're going to read Daniel's vision being interpreted. So, verse 15 says, and I was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. Verse 16, and I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Like I said, family, it's like King of the Hill, right? King of the Hill. These four kings, these four kingdoms, the statue that Nebuchadnezzar seen, the beast that Daniel was seeing, right? These four are fighting for the kingdom of the earth. So Babylon had it. Then you got the Medo-Persia knocked Babylon off. Medo-Persia got it. Here comes Greece. They knocked Medo-Persia off. Greece have it. Here comes the Romans. They knocked Greece off. Now Rome is sitting on it. And Rome is sitting on it until Yahushua comes back. Y'all heard the term, all roads lead to Rome? Rome is still ruling from behind the scene. Oh, we ain't even get into that because we're going to see what this beast is when we get into Revelation. Because remember, this beast, let me not get ahead of myself. Verse 18. No, verse 19. Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which brake in pieces and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. So he's marveling at this beast. He's like, wow, what is going on? Like, notice he never described it. You notice the first 3 beasts. The first one was a lion, all right? Second one was a leopard. No, it was a bear. Then it was the leopard. This one, he did not even throw an animal on it. You notice that, right? Okay. So he says, so he's marveling at this horn now. How this horn came and the 3 left. Verse 20. And the 10 horns which were on his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. Even of that horn that had eyes. So now this horn, the other horns, it doesn't say nothing about the other horns having eyes or a mouth. But for some reason, this horn have eyes and a mouth that speak great things. Okay. Whose look was more stout than his fellows. This horn looked different than the other horns. Verse 21, and I beheld, and that same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Who's the true king of the hill, right? Yah comes and sets the authority. Hallelujah. Verse 23. Thus he says. So now Daniel's getting an understanding about this 4th beast, right? Daniel was marveling. He's like, what? He's astounded. He's like, what is going on, right? So this is the answer. It says, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns, right, out of this kingdom are 10 kings. You see what I'm saying? This beast allows 10 kings to rule with it. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. So if you got 10 kings, you got 10 kingdoms. So let's look at it like this, because people get confused. 10 nations. Right? Because today, you don't really have much kings, right? But you got you got presidents, and you got just straight up rulers, dictators, right? So it's 10 nations that, you know what I'm saying? Even though you might have, it's not just one person. Like one dictator can die and another one steps up, but that still represents one. You see what I'm saying? It's 10 nations, 10 superpowers. Let's look at it like that. 10 powerful countries that can make damage, right, are ruling with this. So look at it like that. Verse 24 again. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. So you have 10, and then you got one that comes, and then 3 go away. Right here it says in the KJV, he shall subdue 3 kings. It could be his people, because you got to remember, like I said, you can't hold on to the fact that it's one person when it says a king. It's just a nation. These are superpowering nations, right? So And I only say that because I try to understand it. I'm reading this. This is why I want to put this out here for us so we can get an understanding. You know what I mean? You know, provoking thought for others to do research in the scripture. You know what I'm saying? In the scripture and get an understanding. So how I'm looking at it is the three were defeated, and the three being defeated was when this little horn became a nation, or a recognize. I ain't gonna say a nation, a recognizing, a nation that's recognized to the point where it's added to the beast. But then when it said it had eyes and a great mouth, I mean a mouth speaking great things, we're talking about an individual. So it's a person that's going to arise from this nation, this little horn nation, that's going to be the son of perdition, the lawless one. That's how I see it. But anyway, let's keep going. Verse 25, and it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until time and times and divided times, or half the times. Time, 1. Times, 2. 2 plus 1, 3. Half the times. 3.5. 3.5 years. We're going to get into that when we start talking about the wilderness and the mark of the beast and stuff like that. But that's what that's talking about there. So you got 3.5 year period of time where this man, when he's ruling, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. Okay. Verse 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it until the end. All right. Because there's going to be fightings. There's going to be fightings. There's going to be a lot of fightings. All right. So, you get into them, which we're not far from them end times. Yeah, that's why you got to remember, you got one key battle. This man is going to subdue the whole earth, right? Just think about this. He's going to subdue the whole earth and be able to do whatever he wants. There should be no fightings, right? But you got one last battle called the Battle of Armageddon. And he's at war too. So it's Satan's house always gonna be divided. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be divided. So let's keep reading. So verse 27 says, "In the kingdom, in the dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him." All right. So these is the four beasts. So we're gonna continue on.